to you.
All right, thank you, Sally Ann. With the summer vacation season coming to an end, election season is really just beginning.
Get ready for even more political ads. Now's the time the candidates will start hitting the campaign trail and hitting us hard over the airwaves with their new commercials. Public relations consultant, political analyst Wtxf joins us now. Jeff, good to see you again.
Good morning.
Mike and Chanel.
Okay, so the president is coming to Philly?
It's coming this Wednesday for Joe Sestak.
For Joe Sestak,
Yes.
but the president supported Arlen Specter, but that's forgotten.
I know, it's all about makeup, and you know what, nothing like several $1 million to say, I'm sorry, and here's a few dollars to help you in your ads for their upcoming campaign.
Now, what do you make of that? Because we've run stories not very recently where President Obama is going to these places, but he's kind of fundraising behind the scenes because he's still raising a lot of cash. But a lot of people don't want to be side by side with him right now.
He's not very popular right now, including Democrats who don't want him in. You're seeing them run away. It's amazing. It's almost like every president, regardless of what party you're in the midterm election, they're less popular than they were when they were first elected.
So if President Obama's here on Wednesday, do you think he'll be front and center?
Oh,
though?
he will. Look, we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about the mighty color of green.
Do you know
which
where
is
he's
money.
going to be? Where's the fundraiser?
Well, I don't know exactly. I believe it's in that hour, but it's out in, of course, the 7th Congressional District, which is Delaware County. And, you know, that race between Sestak and Toomey for the U.S. Senate is extremely competitive.
Do you think it's going to come down to the end?
I think it's going to come down to the end, and you're going to see a lot of outside groups weighing in, third parties.
But Toomey's been ahead the entire time. You see a closing of the gap?
I do see a closing of the gap because you haven't seen a lot from Sestak yet. Remember, Sestak was down to Specter. Again, this was the Democratic primary by 20 points, 15 points, and then at the end, he breezes through. Now, granted, Toomey is not Specter, but you will see this race tighten up. Remember, Pennsylvania is a state that has more registered Democratic voters. Even as unpopular as Democrats are right now as we speak, it's still going to be tough for Toomey to win.
So for the Republicans to win Congress, they need, what, 39, 40?
39, 40 seats to take over the U.S. House.
Senate, they need 10?
9 or 10 to take over the Senate. And I actually predict that they'll have an easier time taking over the House because those are smaller districts, a little bit more fluidity in how people vote versus the Senate.
And I saw maybe the GOP may pick up 7, 8 governorships as well.
Absolutely.
What are you looking at in Pennsylvania?
I think it's going to be Tom Corbett, who's the Republican candidate, to lose. And Pennsylvania, strangely enough, for about a century, it turns over between parties every 8 years. It's an open seat, and Corbett is up by 9 or 10 in the polls. And those numbers have not changed. It's going to take a lot for Honorado, the Democratic candidate, to turn those around. He has time, but it'll be tough.
I was listening to a critique about Honorado, and somebody mentioned the fact that it doesn't seem like he's connecting for some reason with the voters. And some minorities, for example, don't feel as, I don't know, motivated to go out and vote. I've heard, young people aren't as motivated anymore, and I guess that's a big problem, huh?
It's a big problem, obviously, for democracy. You have a lot of people who voted in 2008, young voters. They voted for the person, Obama, rather than the party, the Democratic Party. And here in Philadelphia, let's think about it. Honorado and Corbett are both from Pittsburgh. Specter was from Philly. He's not in the race anymore. What is going to make people in Philadelphia turn out? How are they going to get motivated? Philadelphia, clearly Democratic city. The rest of the state, a little more Republican. Bodes well for Republicans.
You know, when people keep saying, well, the Democrats are going to get creamed, that doesn't make you want to get up out of bed and go to the polls.
Say,
we're going to get
vote
creamed.
And folks are disappointed. Young voters disappointed. They're saying, I voted 2 years ago, I got out, I don't see a difference, I don't have a job. Why should I go out and vote again in 2010? It's sad.
If you are a consultant, and this whole job thing is huge. Steve Keeley just interviewed a guy down the shore. Jobs. People are out of work. What do you do if you're a consultant to some of these Democratic, folks that are running? What do you say? Because everybody's saying, we don't like the incumbents.
I think you have to personalize it. You can't think about it, well, Democrats haven't done enough in Congress. It's, what have I done? If I'm a Democratic incumbent or what am I going to do? Here's what I'm going to vote for, or here's what I voted for, and here's how it's going to affect you, my constituent, in this particular district. You've got to bring it down to literally that one-on-one level.
I would say that I've probably saved 3 million jobs with a stimulus package. That would be argued. I would say I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of this country. This is what I would do if I was President Obama. Because people don't think 1/3 of the stimulus package was a tax cut, the biggest in our history. But he's not selling that very well.
No, and he's kind of been like, I want to say wishy-washy, but it's like they have to be consistent and drive the message.
You got it, brother.
Thank you, Mike.
Jeff.
Great
Please
to see you,
come back
Chanel.
in.
Anytime.
You're very
That's
good.
good.
Thanks a lot.